Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am the Channeling Goddess. I am back with another reading specifically for the Aquarius placements. This came to me, so I wanted to make sure that I did this reading this morning. And you may hear some dinging in the background, but maybe it's just spirit giving us confirmation, right? But I do want to go ahead and get started. I went ahead and pulled some cards while I was off camera just to shuffle and see what spirit has in store for us. So we'll go ahead and get started, okay? First card we have is the Magician. Okay, let's put that over here. Oops. Second card we have is the High Priestess. Third card we have is Strength. Okay. Let's look at these cards. The first word that the first thing that I heard in my head is that your power is increasing, right? Specifically, it was talking about this Magician card, right? You can see down here it says resourcefulness, action, skills, originality, creativity, self-confidence, dexterity, willpower, creation, manifestation, power, inspiration, action, right? Okay. And I feel like someone who's listening to this reading is coming into their power right now. You are understanding the power that you already have, right? You're not needing to have anything else. That power that you have is important, right? And you got to be willing to tap into that power, and you need to understand that this power is something that you create, right? You design it, right? The universe is saying, listen, I'm here with you and I'm here to support you, but you have to decide. It's almost like spirit is giving you the option to say, okay, where do you want to go? Right? What is actually the best path for you? What do you want to do? Right? Spirit is giving you the chance to start anew, right? Second card we have, and I want you to also notice there is a progression, right? This card is number 1, this card is number 2. So that may be important for someone. But the High Priestess talks about intuition, mysteries, awareness, unconsciousness, divine, feminine, sacred, knowledge, wisdom, learning, purity, virtue, lack of patience, right? And whenever I see the High Priestess card, I always get excited because I always think of, someone tapping into their intuition, right? Being open to what they hear, being open to what they see or don't see, right? Because sometimes when we do things, we're going off quote unquote blind faith, right? And sometimes it's a bit hard to do that. It's a bit hard to step into those places, right? But I think spirit is saying that this power that you have, it is going to essentially turn you into the High Priestess, right? You'll be in this infinite power of wisdom and really truly trusting your intuition. And when something is given to you and you are led to do something, you do it, right? You don't second guess it. And even if you do second guess it, you still move forward and do it, right? So spirit is saying, trust yourself, right? The magic's in you, right? It's already in you, right? So trust yourself that this High Priestess is already you. You're not becoming this High Priestess. This High Priestess is already you, right? You just need to be willing to step into what this power is for you, okay? The last card we have is the Strength card. And of course, you can see down at the bottom, it talks about courage, compassion, focus, persuasion, influence, conviction, energy, determination, influence, compassion, and action, right? So spirit is saying that, it understands that you will need strength to move forward in this, right? Spirit understands that it takes a minute to be willing and open to your intuition. It takes a minute to just blindly go for it, right? And there's an amount of strength that you're going to need. And spirit says you got it, right? You don't know your own strength until it's tested, right? And spirit is now putting you in this testing phase, right? It is putting you in the magician phase and saying, hey, what do you want to do, right? And it's giving you the strength, and you'll need that strength, right? Because there are people who are going to try and come against what you want to do, or there may be people who don't necessarily agree with what you're doing, right? And you're going to need that strength to push forward. You're going to need that strength to trust your intuition, right? When it comes up, even if it doesn't sound right, even if it doesn't feel right, you're going to need that strength to trust what you're hearing and what's being brought to you so that you can move forward, okay? And spirit understands that, and spirit has your back, right? Bottom deck energy right here, as you can see, is the Ace of Swords. I'm going to move that off of there. And I want to say under the Ace of Swords is the Ten of Cups, right? So Spirit, especially when I saw this, right? Spirit is saying, listen, take the step, right? Move into this magician power. Open yourself up to the high priestess that you already are, right? And because of that, you'll end up in this Ten of Cups space. Also underneath that is the Two of Swords, right? I always look at this card as blind faith, right? You see that this person has, something covering their eyes and they're just going into this space, right? They're opening themselves up, right? And you want to be open to things that you cannot see, things that doesn't make sense, right? So I just wanted to put that out there. Anyway, but your main bottom deck energy is the Ace of Swords, right? So it talks about ideal, logic, power, breakthrough, new ideas, mental clarity, success, clarity, sound decision making, and opportunities, right? Speak your mind to solve your problems, okay? So maybe part of whatever this is, the Spirit is leading you, or you're being led into, or you decided that you wanted to do, is about speaking, right? Maybe it has something to do with speaking. And a lot of times, like in the Ace of Swords, you see ideal, logic, right? Sometimes things do not make sense as they're not quite logical, right? And it's hard for us to say, just gonna keep going, like this just seems perfect, right? If it doesn't make sense in your head, sometimes it's hard to move forward. And Spirit is saying not everything has to be logical, right? You want to incorporate some logic. It's important to do that, but not everything has to be specifically on the money. You don't have to know exactly how everything is going to turn out, right? And sometimes that's the beautiful part about magic, right? You put all these things together and you are looking for a certain result, And I think Spirit is saying, listen, trust this path. Trust where you're being led, right? And there's a number 1 on this card as well, right? Just wanted to point that out. Maybe that's important for someone. But Spirit is saying, open yourself up to this sharpness, right? These swords are always sharp, right? Open yourself up to this sharpness. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? Understand that logic does take, have a place in moving forward, but sometimes that blind faith can be the best thing for you, right? So we're going to put that here. We'll put the bottom deck energy here. And I wanted to pull one of these cards as well. It's from the Starseed Oracle deck. So I went ahead and pulled up. Let's see what your card is. It says Earth, learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. Okay, so I'm going to read this from the book, but I'm already getting a message from this. The first message that I got from this is Spirit saying, be open, right? Like kind of what we talked about with the logic card, with the Ace of Swords, with that logic, right? Learning how to be human in the world, but not of it, right? And being open to understanding that there is magic everywhere, right? There's magic all around you, in your space, in your words, right? In your thoughts. There's magic everywhere, right? And a lot of times here on earth, right, we're expected to just, okay, if it's not in front of your face and it doesn't make sense and you can't say 1 + 1 is 2, then don't move forward, right? And Spirit is saying sometimes 1 + 1 does not equal 2, right? Sometimes 1 + 1 equals 3. Sometimes 1 + 1 equals 8, right? But you have to be willing to, and open to that magic, okay? So I'm going to read this card from the book. I'm going to move it up here so you can see it. Let's see. Okay. So this card says, learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. The challenge for all souls having a human experience is to be in the world, but not of it. To realize they are souls having a human experience and be fully conscious of it. To have their soul fully embodied. To have their soul fully embody their body. People's personalities tend to relate to either transcendence or immanence. Those who lean toward transcendence have a longing for the heavens and the metaphysical. They yearn for a personal experience with God and to be lost in the heavens. Kind of what we was talking about with this magician card, right? That magic, right? They're envious of the angels and are more comfortable praying and hanging out in the stars than on earth. And anybody that this resonates with, I can totally understand how you feel, right? Sometimes I feel more comfortable, outside with my feet in the grass and looking up at the stars, okay? And I'm going to keep going. Those who tend toward immanence have attached themselves more to earth and their body. They spend more time thinking about things in the physical realm rather than connecting with the heavens or their own mystical inner worlds. Being a fully embodied soul, having a human experience means finding the balance between transcendence and immanence, being in the world but not of it. Most starseeds are drawn toward transcendence. They're more comfortable with the angels and the heavens. Life on earth can be difficult for them. If this is you, you're being reminded that you chose to be a soul in a body on earth, and you're being called to focus more on your energies in the physical world. To learn how to be human, a soul in a human body, fully present to what life on earth has to offer you, right? So for me, when I hear that, it just reminds me that, like we talked about, that mixture between magic and logic, right? You shouldn't be more on one side than the other, like all logic, right? Or all magic, right? There has to be a balance. There has to be duality with situations like this. So Spirit is saying, well, maybe this is for somebody out there who is, all of one and none of the other, right? And Spirit is saying, be open to having that balance, right? Because that balance is what's going to keep you grounded anyway, right? That's what balance is about. It is about being grounded. It is about being in that space of understanding and being in that space of peace, right? And sometimes turmoil, right? Because sometimes balance is things being different, shaking things up, right? So Spirit is saying, understand about that logic and understand that balance and understand that not everything is going to be perfect, right? But have that balance where you are willing to see the magic, but also the logic as well, okay? So that is all I have today for this tarot reading. Please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next reading. Bye.